We are back to break down all the ways The Walking Dead Season 10 bonus episodes compared to Robert Kirkman's comics. We could have done a video for each episode, but since we respect you and are very tired, we decided to wrap it up all into one. From Negan's origins to Commonwealth teases to Maggie's possible new love interest, we cover it all. I'm Woody Tondorf. I know you bastards missed me. And this is Panel to Screen. Let's start with 1017, which caught up with Maggie and introduced a bunch of new characters, most of whom died instantly. Thank you for your service. Although most of this episode's plot was exclusive to the show, there were some nods to the comics. For instance, Maggie's new right-hand man Cole is very close to her comic friend Dante. No, not Psycho McDreamy, the guy who murdered Sadiq and flirted with the elderly. In the comics, Dante was a loyal Hilltop soldier who first discovered the Whisperers. He was vital to the Whisperer War and eventually had a relationship with Maggie, and they once boned in a spear shed. Read into that. So the vibes Cole is giving off suggest that the show is taking bits of comic Dante's character and giving it to Cole. We've just decided that. Facts. Also, since ABC does not exist in the comics, Maggie never leaves, so she never has to learn about Hilltop burning because she was there when it happened. Instead, new Kingdom leader William discovers the wreckage in issue 162. Additionally, the Kill Bill looks Maggie gives Negan in this episode harkens back to her face in issue 168. Do not fuck with her. Finally, the end of the episode, we see the graffiti in Alexandria has changed from Silence the Whisperers to Whispers into Screams. A cute nod to the title of Walking Dead Volume 23, and also my son's favorite game to play. Now to 1018, aka the one where Daryl finally got some. There are no comic comparisons from this episode other than this tree, which appeared in issue 170. Boom, you just got panel to screen. Welcome to the show, tree. But for real though, I see you, Daryl. Oh my god, the smells. On to 1019, where Gabriel and Aaron played Russian roulette with a T-1000 in one more supply mission gone wrong. All of that is somehow true. Although the performances were outstanding and Robert Patrick was, and always will be a badass as two characters, it was almost all show exclusive. However, the episode ends with Gabe pointing towards a water tower, which is a very ominous nod to the comics. In issue 158, Beta takes time from his revenge march to brutally stab and quote-unquote release Gabriel on a water tower. A scene nearly as gut-wrenching, get it, as finding out Regé-Jean Page isn't returning to Bridgerton Season 2. Wait, what? I guess I have to continue with this script, but I am not happy. Next up is 1020, which features Princess dealing with the mental ramifications of capture by these mysterious stormtroopers. We're always going to call them stormtroopers. If it looks like a stormtrooper and aims like a stormtrooper, it's a stormtrooper. In the comics, these soldiers belong to the Commonwealth, a massive modern Ohio community which has its own governor, cafes, and Diamond Dogs Fridays poker nights. Although the episode itself didn't push the plot forward too far, we did get some comic nods. First off, we know from the comics that Princess is prone to delusions, see Pittsburgh. So her mental break in this episode aligns with her character perfectly. Chef's kiss. Second, we see Princess get violently interrogated by one of the soldiers who strip searches her, slaps her, and calls her a bitch, aka Tuesday night in the Odell household. But of course, that's not how it goes down in the comics. In issue 175, our heroes aren't separated into train cars or abused by the guards. Instead, they're interviewed by Commonwealth's bookkeeper and recruiter Lance Hornsby, who, besides being my safe word, is much kinder to them. Finally, Princess tells a Yumiko hallucination about her abusive stepfather. This mirrors her tragic backstory in the comics, which she opens up about to Mercer in issue 187. Speaking of Mercer, we get a name drop on him when Princess overhears two Commonwealth guards discussing him. For the uninitiated, Mercer is the red armor-wearing badass leader of the Commonwealth Army who can choke me, eventually ends up with Princess. Michael James Shaw recently got cast as Mercer in the show, and it's literally the only hope I'm clinging to now that the Duke of Hastings is not reprising his role. Now on to 1021, Diverged, which featured Carol, Daryl, Sweet Jerry, and Dog. Oh boy, since Carol died a while ago and Daryl, Jerry, and Dog never existed in the comics, gonna hit you with the Jeff Bridges True Grit clap.
Couldn't do nothing for you, son.
Moving on to the big finale with the most comic comparisons yet. Here's Negan! In the show, Carol banishes Negan from Alexandria so that Maggie doesn't rage murder him over dinner. In issue 168 and 169, Negan fulfills his deal with Rick to fight off the Whisperers in exchange for his freedom. With the Whisperers gone, Negan leaves on his own accord and lives his life in isolation until Maggie tries to kill him, but spares him and makes out with Dante instead. Back to the episode, we get multiple flashbacks of Negan that extend all the way back to pre-apocalypse days when he was an ex-gym teacher who spent more time cheating on his wife, buying expensive leather jackets, and owning kids in Gears of War 2 than actually being a decent husband. Imagine Jason Sudeikis from the Globes, but a dick.
I gotta wrap this puppy up.
All that changes when Lucille is diagnosed with cancer and the world goes to shit. He makes a 180 and completely devotes himself to her by caring for her in a cabin, trying on her wigs, and watching old movies. When Lucille's medicine goes bad, Negan journeys to find more, which he does thanks to Laura and her friend Franklin. Negan's later captured by a biker gang and sells out his new friends to get the medicine back to his wife. Tragically, he finds Lucille suffocated in their bed, so he bids her farewell, burns their home, wraps barbed wire around a bat, kills the biker gang, and forms the Saviors. Also, we learn his last name is Smith. What? Negan Smith? Oh, my world is fucking rocked with this script, guys. Oh my god. In the present, Negan smashes his dug-up Lucille over a walker, cracking it in half. He apologizes to his late wife, burns the bat, and returns to Alexandria. Negan Smith? The one-off Here's Negan comic, however, was a bit different. Although Negan's job, affair, and wife's cancer diagnosis were the same, there weren't as many time jumps and we didn't get any cabin scenes. Also, Negan played ping pong with kids, not video games. In the book, Negan spends Lucille's last days with her in the hospital, not a cabin. He tearfully apologizes for his infidelity, and when she dies and turns, he recruits a kid he saves to help her put her out of her misery. The boy gets killed by a walker soon after, and Negan survives in a few groups before finding Dwight's. It's there he also meets Sherry and Tara, and quickly becomes their leader. He recruits more dirty dogs, wraps his bat in barbed wire, and forms the Saviors. Also, at this point, he had already broken Lucille over Beta's back in issue 162. He never returned to Alexandria, and we never learned his last name. We were the richer for that. But we did continue his journey in Negan Lives, and I highly recommend it. They didn't pay me to do that. They don't pay me for any of these, actually. And that wraps up this edition of Panel to Screen. As always, some of the story did not happen in the comics, like the Reapers, anything involving Leah, Aaron and Gabe's adventure, Princess's hallucinations, whatever the shit 1021 was, Laura's cameo, Negan's bar fight, bike gang shenanigans, and then the return to Alexandria. Also, at this point in the comics, Ezekiel, Carol, Rosita, Father Gabriel, and Judith were dead, while Daryl, RJ, Dog, Sweet Jerry, Nabila, their kids, Virgil, Alden, and hashtag Baby Coco did not even exist. Also, Rick, Carl, Dwight, Sherry, Sadiq, Dante, Keith, Laura, and Jesus were still around. Make sure to like and subscribe to Skybound and watch Invincible on Amazon Prime Video. Steven Yeun's in it, and he's amazing. Anyway, I'm Woody Sondorf, Bridgerton is dead to me, and we'll see you next time. Negan Smith, Jesus fucking Christ.